Hi, everybody, and welcome to the first edition in 2018 of Harding Football with Paul Simmons. The Bisons with a big road victory on Thursday night down in Arkadelphia at Carpenter Haygood Stadium, 41-17, the victory over Henderson State. And Paul Simmons, your seventh-ranked Bisons, I know that you had to be very pleased with an opener. With the way the defense came out and played, the offense played well, and also special teams, and because openers are not supposed to be very clean, right?
Well, I tell you what, I was pleased. I was pleased with the effort. I was really pleased with the composure. You kind of have some things that you think about your team, but until you see it live, you don't really know. And in this offense that is such a timing precision deal, it usually takes us a while to kind of get clicking, and we don't normally look very good in openers. And so, yeah, I was really pleased. That was a good football game for us.
How important was the experience that we had talked about all last week from your football team going into an opener on a Thursday night? And when you look at just one stat in particular, look at just one penalty in the football game for 15 yards.
Yeah. I tell you what, that was the one thing that really stood out to me, really, as opposed to last year, is you could just feel that we have a bunch of guys that have been in big ball games. There was a great sense of calm, of composure. We had momentum early, but some things didn't go our way a few times. But there was a very businesslike approach, and I think that's a result of guys that have been in a lot of football games. So, yeah, that definitely stood out.
And how important was the start to go out, the defense, a quick 3-and-out, and then you get good field position, get a field goal, and then immediately get a big play from the defense to score and go up 10-0.
Yeah, obviously getting a great stop, they kind of shanked a punt, and I would love to get a touchdown on that first drive, but getting early points, and then the play from Dre and Frank, two old seniors that have been here and been part of a lot of battles for us. That was such a big deal. When you go on the road, you desperately want to get their crowd out of the game, get momentum going your way, and so to get an easy score and go up 10-0 was giant.
And we have a lot of highlights to look at after the Bison's 41-17 victory last Thursday night, and we'll begin with first quarter highlights right after this. Welcome back to Harding Football with Paul Simmons as we look back at the Bison's 41-17 victory on Thursday night at Henderson State, and we start by looking at first quarter highlights. And the Bison defense was so impressive, I thought, in the football game on Thursday night, and we'll get a look at some pressure here early in this first quarter, Coach.
Yeah, the pressure was awesome all night. TJ obviously had a monster night for us, but that D-line can run around. I mean, that's a third down package. We get 4 DNs in the game, a lot of speed, and keep that O-line off balance. But I was really, really pleased, and Frank taking a chance there, but it worked out for us. It's not uncommon for our offense to come out a little bit and struggle a little bit, as Coach Wheaton and Coach Chisholm and Coach Hill Underwood. It takes them a minute to kind of figure out what's going on, and this was pretty typical right there. Boy, I wanted 7 points really bad right here, but they made a big play right there. Henderson has got a long tradition of being good on defense, and they make you earn every yard.
And that had to feel good for Cameron Scott right there. He nailed his first field goal, 25-yarder, to make it 3-0.
Well, Cameron was awesome. He had a great night. He boomed his kickoffs. He was 2 for 2. Kicking field goals. He punted the ball really well. He was really a bright spot. Really proud of the game that he had. Huge play. 2 seniors involved right there. Like you love to see seniors make big plays for us. And we think we got a lot of speed and guys on defense that can play, and that really stood out right there. But if you watch the game, we were on that quarterback. We were around him all night long, and I think that guy's talented. He just never could get into a rhythm, and the pressure was a big part of that. Really pleased with how Preston handled the start. A lot of things he can do better, but he was very composed. He really managed the game well. Maybe one of the biggest things that I was proud of is how our backs finished off runs all night, whether it was our slots, whether it was our B-back. We never had guys dancing. We had guys getting behind their pads, finishing off runs, and boy, we preach that. That's a big, big deal for us.
You had Cameron Scott with a punt right there. He averaged almost 45 yards all evening as we move into the second quarter. 10-0 Bisons right now.
You know, they got a little rhythm here on a drive right here. I don't know if it's right here or not, but they got a little rhythm going, but we were able to survive it.
Coach, the stats don't really show up for Devin Comer. We talk a lot about different players, but Devin Comer, it felt like was in the backfield all night.
No, he lived in the backfield just like right there. I mean, that guy, you know, he's going to have a double-digit sack year for us. He is dynamite, and you know, when that guy's on one edge and on the other side is TJ, you know, it makes it tough for old linemen. But yeah, Devin was a presence for sure all night. Now this is the drive.
Yes.
They got a little bit of rhythm going, and we had a few twists that didn't really go our way. Execution things like that right there, that was our mistake, but we'll get that cleaned up. You know, Logan Mulraney's a good back. He was at Arkansas State last year, but I thought overall we did a good job with him. Tony made a great break right there. He just kind of undercut a little bit too much, and we'll get that cleaned up. 81 was a good football player. Our return guy kind of got confused there. He told me, he said, I couldn't tell if I was in the end zone or not, which I wanted to kneel it, but I wasn't sure where I was at. That line confused me.
But after now it's a 10-7 game, Coach, this proved to be, to me, a huge drive for your football team.
Oh, yeah, 90-yard drive in the second quarter right here. Execution was really good. Very excited to see Tristan Tucker really have a breakout game for us, 103 yards, blocked well, played really well. You know, obviously a lot of people were you know, kind of nervous about the slots because we really only had one that had a lot of game reps, but those guys played really well.
There's Cole Chancey. He and Tristan Tucker both over 103 yards, 21st time in program history that two players rushed for more than 100 yards in the same game.
Right. Yeah, the O-line played really well. You know, this is a big deal. I mean, we were 3 for 3 throwing the football. You know, Preston throws the ball really easy, throws a good ball. I think that's going to give us a chance to be more balanced and to really open things up.
And how excited was Taylor Thompson, his first touchdown as a Bison, and I watched him all the way back over to the sideline. He was very excited.
Yeah, that was a big deal. You know, we really didn't know if he was even going to be able to travel kind of until the last minute, just, you know, getting back to full speed. And he's not full speed yet, but he is a very talented young man, and boy, just really excited to see him out there playing and making plays for us.
There's T.J. Winslow again forcing another fumble.
Yeah, that left tackle had a long night. He really did. T.J. was really effective. Really proud of the night that he had. Good to see Romar back at the ball game for us and playing well, getting behind his pads. You know, our 1-2 punch at B-back is really, really impressive. Romar and Cole Chancey are two really talented young men.
And this is a big touchdown late there in the first half, and the Bisons going into the halftime locker room with a 24-7 advantage. And at halftime, what was the thinking when you went to the locker room? I know you had to feel good going into the locker room, but knowing that you're at Henderson State, that you had to keep the foot on the gas pedal.
Oh yeah, we knew that we had a long way to go, and you know, we talked about having a killer instinct, and when you got a guy on the ropes, you know, you've got to put him away. You got to execute. You got to be disciplined, and you know, and I was pleased. I was pleased. Of course, you know, it would never cross my mind that our guys would assume anything, and that's, you know, we had a long way to go, but they responded well.
Some interesting tidbits. I think a neat number to me was Frank Herbert's first quarter touchdown, the 10th scored by the Bison defense in the last 3 seasons. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, you know, we got a lot of guys on defense that can run and make plays, and you know, when your defense scores, that's such a morale boost for your sideline, and it's an absolute morale killer for their defense. When you know, when you're playing defense and 7 points goes up and you didn't have a chance to do anything about it, well, that hurts your feelings now. So that was a big deal, and I sure hope we can get a lot more of those.
So the Bisons with the lead at the half, but when we come back into the second half, it would be Henderson State who would come out and get right back in the football game, and we'll look at the third and fourth quarter highlights right after this. 24-7, Bisons with the advantage at the half as we get ready to go to third quarter highlights on Harding football with Paul Simmons. Bisons with the advantage, but it would be Henderson State who would come back, and they're early in the third quarter and give themselves really an opportunity to get back in the football game. And Coach, you knew they were going to come out fighting there in the third quarter, and they were able to put a good drive together to begin the third quarter.
Yeah, I knew that that team was a well-coached team. They played really hard, and we certainly knew they weren't going to go away. Came out and got a lot of momentum right here, and really had a great chance. This block in the back, boy, it really hurt them right there. Mm-hmm. But this stand coming up was such a huge deal for us. Really, really proud of the kids.
This was the first drive, and then able to force a field goal on the first drive. Now it's 24-10 Bisons with the advantage, but Henderson State, their defense will step up right here and get the football back and two-score game, and they have an opportunity to really get right back in it. Coach, I didn't know if this fumble was ever going to end. That ball was alive for a while.
Yeah, it made me sick. I got ahead of myself. The game was Thursday. That was too long ago. I've already forgotten about it.
And now here's the big opportunity you're talking about where your defense just really stood up. This was second down and 1 after a 9-yard game.
We bring 2 safeties and make a play here. They got big personnel in the game, and I did right here. Ben Trotter, the left end, does a great job coming underneath that, making the ball go sideways. It's a detailed game, and that was the detail right there that was a big deal for us. And then on fourth down, if you watch T.J. Winslow just take the whole O-line down, and more guys flying the football. When you look back as a player, the things you remember, one of them is fourth down stands. Goal line or fourth down stops are such an awesome deal.
So it remains 24-10. Bisons get the football back midway through the third quarter right now.
Well, Coach Yancey's good, isn't he?
He sure is.
He's good. I don't watch the offense enough because I'm trying to figure out how to get a stop.
It seems like we saw that a lot last year. Coach Yancey getting a good block up front and then off and running.
And we really see it a lot in the third and the fourth quarter as people start to wear down a little bit. Good to see old Malik Matthews, a guy that's going to be a really good player for us, a redshirt freshman, getting a few touches. He's a talented young man, going to be a good player for us.
There's Cameron Scott with a 29-yard field goal at that point to make it 27-10 Bisons.
Yeah, TJ had another big sack. And right here, old Beyonce, now he was headed to the end zone. With that Shedrick, we knocked him down.
Here's Bissell from his
Taylor Bissell, boy, needed a little bit more gas. But again, being able to throw the football opens things up for us unbelievably. We got to get better and better at that.
Move to the fourth quarter now, 27-10, and the Bisons knocking on the door.
Anytime you have a guy have a season-ending injury, so we had 2 guys that had already been in the end zone that last year had their seasons taken away by injury, and so that's rewarding to see that happen for those guys. Quarterback's a good player. He's going to have a good year, I think, if they can get a little time for him.
Nice fade pattern here. That's
a tough matchup.
Ready to chase Lodry, and
Lodry's talented and long. Now they had him one-on-one with a safety, and that's a tough matchup now.
Made it 34-17 at that point. Bison's not done offensively.
There's old Matt Fuller hitting it right there hard. Proud of him. Matt had a great summer, came back in great shape, and really has improved himself. And we're really proud of Matt and the work he's done. Look at the guys out front blocking here. Look at that effort. Look at Bissell. Look at Mason Hutto, Michael Cindric. Just awesome effort out in front of that play right there.
And that was the touchdown that really dropped the hammer and the extra point. Bison's up 41-17 at this point now late in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, had a chance to get a few young guys in the game. There's Devin again, just all over him. Patrick Healy, a true freshman there playing ball for us. It's exciting to see that. Another big sack by Shedrick right there. That quarterback is, I think he was pretty happy when the last bell rang. he got chased around quite a bit.
You mentioned after the game the Bison's been on the road. Feels like for a long time, Coach. Finally get to be at home this week. It'll feel good.
Yeah, I didn't. That was our 6th straight road game, dating back to last season, and I didn't realize that. But we are really excited about coming back and playing in front of a hometown crowd, and we love the road. I mean, we embrace the road. We love that Warrior spirit, but we are excited to come home this weekend.
And another number as far as talking about 6 is obviously the teams congratulate each other after the game, but 6th consecutive GAC road win for your football team. And what do you attribute the toughness, the mental toughness to this football team? And that goes back to last season, but obviously this is a new season.
Well, there's no question, and that is 100% about the kind of young men that we have on our program. And we have special young men that have the right kind of mindset, the right kind of focus. We talk all the time about having a warrior spirit. And for us, it's not about fighting and having a warrior spirit. It's about embracing things that are not easy. Mm-hmm. And, when you go on the road, you have more time together, more time to focus. You get in that hotel room. And we like the us against everybody mentality. We like being home too, but we certainly embrace the idea that we're going to go out there and battle, and the odds are stacked against us, and how do we respond?
And to put a period on the game on Thursday night, TJ Winslow was rewarded with his effort. GAC Defensive Player of the Week, 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and Coach, the 3 sacks and 2 forced fumbles. The last player to have 3 sacks in a game is currently on your staff, and we talked about him a lot when he played. Defensive line coach Trayvon Bigelow did that back in 2015 against Northwestern Oklahoma.
Yeah, he was a
pretty good company to be with.
Yeah, he was a great player and doing a great job coaching for us. TJ, he needs to be the national player of the week. I mean, he had 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 3 tackles for loss, and a pass breakup. And if he isn't the national player of the week, I'm going to have to talk to Scott Good about that. That's our SID.
There's a lot of pressure on Scott Good.
Got to get that handled.
In week 1.
No, I was really, really proud of him.
When we come back on Harding Football with Paul Simmons, Bailey Hedden will catch up with Brandon Bryce, and we'll look forward to that interview right after this. Back on this week's edition of Harding Football with Paul Simmons, it's now time to meet one of the Bisons. Bailey Hedden had a chance to catch up with Brandon Bryce.
Thanks, Billy. I'm here with senior safety from the Bison football team, Brandon Bryce.
Bison Nation, how's it going?
And we're here to learn just a little bit more about him. So, Brandon, if you didn't come to Harding, where would you be?
Florida A&M.
What's your favorite breakfast cereal?
Either Waffle Crisp or Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Do you have a nickname?
B.
Why B?
Because if I get called Brandon, I feel like I'm in trouble sometimes.
Do you have a hero?
My mom.
Would you also say she's your biggest fan?
Oh, no doubt. She'll be the loudest in the stands next Saturday.
Are you right or left-handed?
Right-handed.
What's your favorite memory as an athlete?
6th grade year basketball in my middle school. We were down by 12 points. I scored the last 12 to come back.
That's awesome. What's your favorite color?
Green, like the football field.
If you didn't play football, what was another sport that you would play?
I definitely played basketball.
What's your favorite hobby outside of football?
Picking watermelons inside of Walmart.
How do you know which ones are the best?
It's one side's light and one side's dark.
Are you a scary movie guy or happy endings?
I'm a happy ending.
So how do you think this football season's going to go?
Well, it's going to go good. We just got to keep working and keep listening to the coaches and just do our jobs.
Okay, so I have one more question for you. What does it mean to be a Bison to you?
To be a Bison, it means cold black. We live by it and we die by it. And we're just behind our brothers and we're listening to our coaches. And it's just not about football here. It's just about how are you going to do down the road in life, and how are you going to take care of your family, and when times get hard, how are you going to react?
Great. I'm Bailey Hedden with the Harding Sports Network, here with Brandon Bryce. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Bailey. That was a lot of fun. Brandon Bryce, a senior from St. Louis. Coach, I know you enjoyed watching that.
I did. It was my first time, and yeah, Brandon, I love Brandon, and I didn't know a lot of that stuff about him.
But it's an opportunity for our fans to get to see guys like Brandon Bryce, and you talked about there's so many great stories and great young men on this football team that's a part of the brotherhood.
Yeah, no doubt. You know, when we recruit guys, one thing I say to the coaches, coaches, remember, it's a really long season. We got long bus rides. We got long stays in the hotel. Let's bring in some guys that we love to be around, that can make us laugh and make us smile and have passion and have energy, and Brandon certainly falls in that category.
You said something to me last week that really hit home, and you said this is too hard with everything that we do for it to not be fun.
Well, there's no question. You know, it's hard. It's a big commitment, and if the bottom line is winning, that's what it's all about, then we've missed the boat. You know, it needs to be fun. It needs to be rewarding, way beyond the scoreboard, and so.
Yeah, big week coming up for the Bisons. We'll get to that when we come out of the break. Southern Arkansas off to a great start. We'll talk about them, and also a nationally televised audience will be watching the Bisons on Saturday night with a home opener against Southern Arkansas, and we'll get to that right after this. Back on Harding football with Paul Simmons. The Bisons are 1-0, getting ready for Saturday night's game against another team that's 1-0. Southern Arkansas won 38-0. But before we over Arkansas Tech this last week, before we talk about Southern Arkansas in depth, Coach, big week. It's the home opener. You mentioned the Bisons haven't been home in a long time, and nationally televised audience on ESPN3 and the ESPN app. The kids, I know, are excited.
Yeah, there's a lot of excitement, you know, for lots of reasons, and we got our hands full. You know, SAU is a very talented team. You know, we did not play well against them last year, and so we're certainly looking forward to a chance to play ball again Saturday. But a lot of good stuff happening around the ball game Saturday.
I talked about a tall task to you last week, going down to Henderson State to begin the season. But then you back it up with the Henderson State game on the road, and now Southern Arkansas, who was very impressive in their 38-0 victory over Arkansas Tech on Saturday night. This is a tough first 2 weeks.
Yeah, you know, I think I said to you, we will learn a lot about ourselves right away, and we certainly will. I don't know who the best team in our league is, but I certainly think that SAU is one of the very best and maybe the most talented, just as far as speed and power and athletes. So, and they're going to be hungry, and this is a big game for them. They know that to win a conference championship, this is a big game for them. So, a lot on the line for sure.
Tell our fans how important it is for the guys to look up there Saturday night and see everybody in black and gold and ready to go for that 6 o'clock kickoff.
I don't think there's any doubt that the difference in the game really can come down to the fans. I mean, it's going to be a game of inches, and if we have that constant roar behind us, you know, our kids feed off of that. It is a giant deal. We would love for as many of you Bison fans to come out and see us as possible. Show up, be loud, get behind the boys. They are young men that are worth pulling for, I promise you. So I would love to see you Saturday night. Come to the tailgate, come early. Let's just have a party all day, and we will try our very best to do our part to make sure the party has a good ending.
All right, Paul Simmons, always a pleasure to be with you. Have a great week, and we'll see you on Saturday when the Bisons take on Southern Arkansas, and we hope to see you all right there at First Security Stadium Saturday night.